Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to Narayana, the topmost human. One should offer respectful obeisances to Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Naranarayana Rishi, the topmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Vyasadeva, the author. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee of the Lord, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, entitled Creation, Chapter 8, Prayers by Queen Kunti, text number 44. Suta uvacha Prathayatham kalapade Parinuta khilodayaha Mandam jahasa vaikuntho Mohayanniva mayaya. Suta uvacha Prathayatham kalapade Parinuta khilodayaha Mandam jahasa vaikuntho Mohayanniva mayaya. Suta uvacha Prathayatham kalapade Parinuta khilodayaha Mandam jahasa vaikuntho Mohayanniva mayaya. Suta uvacha Prathayatham kalapade Parinuta khilodayaha Mandam jahasa vaikuntho Mohayanniva mayaya. Suta uvacha Parinuta kalapade Parinuta khilodayaha Mandam jahasa vaikuntho Mohayanniva mayaya. Suta vacha Prathayatham kalapade Parinuta khilodayaha Mandam jahasa vaikuntho Mohayanniva mayaya. Suta uvacha Prathayatham kalapade Parinuta khilodayaha Mandam jahasa vaikuntho Mohayanniva mayaya. Suta uvacha Prathayatham kalapade Parinuta khilodayaha Mandam jahasa vaikuntho Mohayanniva mayaya. Synonyms: Suta uvacha, Suta said. Prathaya, by Pratha, Kunti. Itham, this. Kalapadaihi, by chosen words. Parinuta, being worshipped. Akhila, universal. Udayaha, glorious. Mandam, mildly. Jahasa, smiled. Vaikunthaha, the Lord. Mohayan, captivating. Eva, like. Mayaya, his mystic power. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Suta Goswami said, the Lord, thus hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi, composed in choice words for his glorification, mildly smiled. That smile was as enchanting as his mystic power. Translation with repetition. Suta Goswami said, the Lord, thus hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi, composed in choice words for his glorification, mildly smiled. That smile was as enchanting as his mystic power. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Anything that is enchanting in the material world is said to be a representation of the Lord. The conditioned souls who are engaged in trying to lord it over the material world are also enchanted by his mystic powers. But his devotees are enchanted in a different way by the glories of the Lord, and his merciful blessings are upon them. His energy is displayed in different ways as electrical energy works in manifold capacities. Srimati Kunti Devi has prayed to the Lord just to enunciate a fragment of his glories. All his devotees worship him in that way by chosen words, and therefore the Lord is known as Uttama Shloka. No amount of chosen words is sufficient to enumerate the Lord's glory, and yet he is satisfied by such prayers as the Father is satisfied even by the broken linguistic attempts of the growing child. The word Maya is used both in the sense of delusion and mercy. Herein the word Maya is used in the sense of the Lord's mercy upon Kunti Devi. Thus ends the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, this prayer is spoken by Suta Goswami. As we all know, this is a conversation which is happening in the Naimisharanya between Suta Goswami and the sages assembled over there, headed by Sonaka Rishi. So Bhagavatam changes the speaker. When Kunti Maharani was offering prayers, it was not Suta Uvacha, it was Kunti Uvacha. And it started with Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bhahiravasthitam. And then we saw the last verse in the last class. what is that? Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha Rasabhavani Dhrik. Very good. That verse we saw in the last class. So Kunti Maharani had offered her heartfelt prayers, starting with Ishvara Prakriti Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahiravastitam Namasya Purusham Tvadyam, starting with paying her obeisances. And today's verse, we have a very beautiful verse and so wonderful expression by Bhagavatam, which actually should be our goal and mission in life. That's what Prabhupada says. Sometimes in a class, like in our advanced class also, there are some boys who are always eager to get up as soon as they get a sense that the class is coming to an end, isn't it? They start packing and then make some noise, tick, 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 tick. They have to go and leave. But it is important to see when the prayers are offered, because the prayers are offered to the Lord. What is the reaction of the Lord? What does the Lord say? We come and simply we offer prayers and we go. We think probably the Lord is not going to see, listen, or hear. But what is the reaction of the Lord? That's why in Bhagavatam, when a devotee is offering prayers, prayers are important, but you also have to see what is the context. Why that devotee is offering prayers? How does he start? And when he ends, what does the Lord say, or how does the Lord respond, react? Suta vacha. Nay, you don't have to. Prathayatham kalapadai parinuta khilodayah mandam jahasa vaikuntho. This third line. Mandam jahasa vaikuntho mohayan iva mayaya. Actually, one should have goosebumps if somebody hears this. Mandam jahasa vaikuntho. The Lord smiled. How did he smile? Jahasa is smiling. Mandam is mildly. Mandam jahasa vaikuntho. Another name of the Lord is Vaikuntha. The Lord smiled. Why did he smile? Prathayatham kalapadai. Pratha, Kunti Maharani, itham, thus has offered prayers. Kalapadai. Kalapadai is beautiful expression of Bhagavatam. In the words itself has some kind of lyrical, like it's a song. Kalapadai. Chosen words. What beautiful prayers of Kunti Maharani we've been seeing. Amazing prayers by Kunti. So Prathayatham Kalapadai, those chosen words, when Kunti Maharani offered these prayers, Parinuta Akhila Udayaha. Parinuta, she is worshipping the Lord. Parinuta Akhila Udaya, with this glorious Parinuta Akhila Udaya, the reaction of the Lord is just, unthinkable. Mandam Jaha Savaikuntho Mohayan Mayaya. Actually, the translation Prabhupada is saying that that smile was as enchanting as his mystic power. Mohayan Iva Mayaya. And the word Maya, unlike the most common meaning that we have, which is the external energy of the Lord, it is here referring to the mercy. So the smile of the Lord is as enchanting as his mystic power. And what a beautiful purport by Prabhupada. Let's pay attention to this. The word that is used here is enchanting, right? Mohayan. Mohayan is captivating. In this material world, there are many things which captivate us. Many things. We get captivated by beauty. We get captivated by success. We get captivated by fame. We get captivated by knowledge. We get captivated by power. All these things captivate us. Mohayan, enchanting. Anything that is enchanting in the world is said to be a representation of the Lord. Now the next line, Prabhupada says, he gives a contrast between the conditioned souls who are engaged in trying to lord it over the material world are also enchanted by his mystic powers. But his devotees are enchanted in a different way by the glories of the Lord, and his merciful blessings are upon them. So one side we have the conditioned souls who are engaged in trying to lord it over, are enchanted by his mystic powers. But the devotees are enchanted in different way by the glories of the Lord and his merciful blessings upon them. Let's understand this line a little bit. Who is a conditioned soul? I'm looking for a definition. Conditioned souls who are engaged in trying to lord it over the material world are also enchanted by his mystic powers. Very powerful, this sentence. He raised hand saying that I am a conditioned soul. We are all conditioned souls. What does conditioned means? I don't know, what is the thermostat set over there, the temperature over there? Maybe 70 or something. 71. And outside if you go, maybe the temperature is 60, maybe it is 50. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever the temperature is. Irrespective of whatever the temperature is. If the temperature is conditioned, if it is set at 70, it should be 70 at any cost. If the manufacturer of that thermostat, or whoever has designed this house, the room, if he says only when the temperature is 70 outside, then it will be 70 inside, then it is not conditioned. Kind of actually, you won't believe, I had a summer internship when I was doing my MBA with Voltas refrigeration company. They also manufacture ACs in India. And the Voltas corporate office, so there's a huge corridor. And the temperature was never perfect. Voltas office, Voltas AC office, huge corridor, and the temperature is all, India it is very hot, it's in Mumbai, and some issues were there. The people over there who were supposed to take care of the office and this thing, they used to blame the contractor who has done the installation and thing, saying that it is because of those useless contractors. Those useless contractors only go and install, because Voltas company, they don't go and do this. There is a plumbing, electrical, mechanical, PM, whatever those kind of contractors are assigned this to install the AC, and the temperature was not set properly. It was never comfortable. Anyway, the point is, if it is set to 70 degrees, that means the temperature will remain 70 degree in this house. This is called conditioning. The conditioned souls who are engaged in trying to lord it over the material world are also enchanted by his mystic powers. What is the condition? The first condition is we've got this material body. Second condition is we are in this material world. Third condition is we are under the influence of material nature, because of which we've got material desires. Fourth condition is we are doing this material activities to fulfill these desires. And when we are doing this material activities, that has covered our there is a layer of ignorance which has covered our identity. We have forgotten our spiritual soul, and we have forgotten our spiritual identity, and there is a constant fear, there is a constant threat. This is because of association with the material energy. So anything that is manufactured in this material world has got one purpose only. What is that one purpose? Enjoy sense gratification, the same. Two? No. I mean, they're there, but just one purpose. No. Huh? What is that? Happiness? No. No. Anything that is manufactured in the material world. Not to attract, to mitigate our miseries, to make our life comfortable. There is some problem, something which is going on, and the thing that is manufactured or done something, it'll reduce that miseries or alleviate that or mitigate that miseries. As thoughtful men and women sitting here and Vaishnavas attending Bhagavatam class, my question to all of you is, why at all there should be happiness in this material world? I mean, you will say, huh? Survive peacefully, okay? So maybe, when the question is heard by some people, they say, "Arey, come on, means material world mein happiness nahi rahega? Means what is this?" But you see, very interesting, these things we don't pay attention. There is a product, okay? If there is a product company, it has manufactured a product. So the product has a particular use which the company who has manufactured knows it. And they put a label that this product is going to do so and so things. Similarly, this material world is produced, is created. And there is a creator who has created, and after creating this material world, he has put a label, Dukkhalayam. This is labeled as Dukkhalayam. But what are we looking here? We are looking for happiness. Somebody goes to Himalaya, okay? And he goes to Himalaya and says, so much ice here. Oh, what's going on? You've gone to Himalaya. Himalaya means it's a place of ice. You will find ice only there, nothing else. You go to another place called Aushadhalaya. Only medicines? What's going on here? You will see only medicines. This is Aushadhalaya. You go to, when I was working in Mumbai, we used to supply cylinders to hospitals. So one of the hospitals that we were supplying our cylinders is called Bhakti Vedanta Rugnalaya. They in Hindi they write, it's actually Bhakti Vedanta Hospital, but they write as Rugnalaya. So you go there, you find somebody is lying there with some needles poked here, this thing, that thing falling. Then you wonder why these people are having so much of problems. There is one man who will be complaining to the nurse, आज क्या है मेन्यू में, जिस मैं भी करता हूँ बद्री को, खिचड़ी सूप. मैं 2 महीने से खा के पक गया हूँ. आई एम बोर्ड ऑफ दिस, गिव मी समथिंग. देखा आपका चार्ट, देखा कोलेस्ट्रॉल इतना है, ये BP, so much this thing. Only soup and khichdi. That's all it is. Rugnalaya. Right? Similarly, this is Dukkhalaya. There is suffering and that is universal. Who wants to, who wants really suffering? Nobody wants. But this place is a place of miseries. Let me ask you a question. What do you think is the definition of suffering? What is suffering? Pain. Pain means something which is unpleasant, isn't it? Unpleasant. Any other definition? Something you want and it is happening against you. Second. Any other? 1/3. And we will analyze this, because conditioned souls are enchanted by something in this material world. And they are looking for something, but in a place which is meant to give something else. What else? Any other definition of suffering? Cessation of pleasurable sensation. Okay, what do you say? Angry. Hankering. Hankering is not suffering. If you see any other, always desiring for something, that's something. What is the second definition? Who said that? Against your will, something you're desiring for something. Okay, let's hold on for a moment. Let's see the first one, unpleasant experience or pain. You go to anyway, you're not you would have you traveled in local trains in India? So you go to the train station, 8 घंटा late hai train, or you go to airport. We dropped Panduranga Prabhu yesterday, the flight was 2 hours late, right? Or such things. So this is unpleasant. You don't want those things. Pleasure is something which is meant to satisfy your senses. And you get some experience which you don't like, that we call it as suffering. That's the first definition. Second, we want something to happen, but it doesn't happen. Like for example, you want to make some chutney or something. On that day itself, the blender will not work. Or you go to some, you want to take some printout, something very urgent. You want to go and give print. You've given all command, everything you've checked. The printer only is not working, right? Sometimes people say, "Isko aaj hi marna tha," as if the machines has got life or death. Isko aaj hi marna tha. But we plan, we think something, and it doesn't work the way. These two definitions that you have given. There is a third definition of misery is when somebody else is enjoying. That is also अंदर में सर देखो उसको साला कुछ नहीं आता है enjoy कर रहा है life में, some kind of a feeling. Actually these three things, if you see, these three things, there's something which is fundamentally missing. This is what is the definition of suffering we are saying. Unpleasant experience, or when we are planning something it doesn't happen, or when some people are enjoying. I'll tell you one very simple thing, and then I'll come back to this, and then we will see this, and then we will see the Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho. Oh, Lord, smile. We will see that. Hopefully, the time will permit. I had seen one video recently, not recently, maybe a year back or something. It's a documentary, a Japanese documentary on vaccination. Kahan hai hamare sir? Vaccination wale, COVID. During COVID vaccinations, so it was a Japanese documentary. There were a lot of kids, okay, and how they were vaccinating them. And there is something very important to learn in that. So the kids are there, and the doctor and the nurse will come, and then they will clap, chow chow, something in Japanese and whatever language, something they will do. So all the kids are very happy, and they are laughing and giggling and all. Then the nurse will catch one child and bring. And then the doctor will point him to some teddy bear or something. The child is looking in there. Either thoda ye kar diya, that Dettol, whatever they put. And then by the time the child is little clueless, they take that syringe, and they usually do 2 times, isn't it? To this thing. Every time they do, they'll do 2 times, and then suddenly they poke it, and the pain is so intense. The child, even to react, first the sound to produce the kinetic energy, it has to convert. So there is an expression of, and then bang, it will start making one noise. Then they put him aside. Then the second child comes. Same process. Same usko dikhate hain, teddy bear वैसे हो रहा है. He is also this thing. Thak, they'll put, and then same bang, it will start crying. Goes. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th child when it comes, and the same thing is being repeated. The first child who was crying, now he feels happy. He starts smiling. It's an actual thing. I'm telling you, you can see this video I'll share sometime. So there is a great learning in this. First thing is, misery comes when we are least expecting. Suffering comes when we are least expecting. Child is clueless, udhar pura khoya, enchanted in this material world. Patak, one injection chala jata hai andar. Itna जोर से जाता है, वो क्या करेगा समझ में नहीं आता है. First thing. Second thing is, I don't deserve this. This is not supposed to happen to me. This is a feeling always be, why me? मेरे कोई भगवान को कोई दुनिया में मिला नहीं, मैं ही मिला. That kind of a feeling is there. That is where he starts crying, that intense pain. Why it is to me? But the third thing, misery is always love companies. When he sees somebody else is also crying, ये तो मेरा अकेले का phenomena नहीं है, सबको हो रहा है. Then the misery also gets reduced. In our mind we also think, ठीक है, वो भी खा रहा है, ये भी खा रहा है, ये भी लात खा रहा है, वो तो और ज़्यादा खा रही है तो और रो रहा है, बड़ा शाना बनता था ना, खा अभी तू करके. That feeling comes. This is what is the definition of suffering if you see it in nutshell. So the first thing, the unpleasant experiences that we said, the pain, that we are experiencing because our senses are conditioned. Right now the senses are not purified. There is happiness, but that happiness we are not able to experience. Yesterday we had a session with the WPI students, and there was Prabhu asked me if anything from Nectar of Instruction we can share, because they were reading. There is one verse which comes, Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya Pitopatapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kintu Adarad Anudinam Khalu Saiva Justa Swadvi Kramad Bhavati Tad Gada Mula Hantri. Very powerful verse. Syat Krishna Nama Charitati Sitapi Avidya Pitopatapta. Pitta in Sanskrit means the biles, the pitta. Upatapta. Pitopatapta Rasanasya. Because there is Upatapta is afflicted, it is churned, agitated, this pitta. Rasanasya, the tongue doesn't have any taste. Pitopatapta Rasanasya na rochikanu. The senses which are conditioned, like the patient who is having jaundice, is not able to experience the sweetness. Yesterday, after talking about this verse, I was thinking about it a little more. Imagine there are 4 people that you get who are actually suffering from jaundice, and there are 4 here who are not suffering from jaundice. So you give them sugarcane juice, each one of them sugarcane juice. Here also sugarcane juice. 4 Matajis, there are 4 Prabhujis who are having jaundice. Then you ask them, is it sweet? What do you think they will say? They will say no. You ask them, is it sweet? They will say yes. Right? So are they lying when they are saying that this is not sweet? No. Are these people lying? No, they are also saying the truth. They are saying the right thing. But the point is, what is the truth? These people, because they are conditioned, they are saying this is not sweet. But these people who are not having jaundice, saying that this is sweet. This is exactly the difference between a conditioned living entity who's trying to enjoy. He thinks pleasure means pleasing my senses, gratifying my senses, and when that doesn't happen, he experiences suffering. Second thing is, when I'm thinking that this is my plan and this should happen in this way, and when it doesn't happen, I feel sad. This is exactly the point which Krishna says, because we are all trying to be controller of things in our life. Not exactly controller, but we want to be the proprietor, we want to be the controller, and also we want to be the enjoyer. But in Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, he says, Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyantva mam santi marchati. The controller, the proprietor and enjoyer is Krishna. The moment you accept it, you will be peaceful. That is where the problem is. We can't accept it. So somebody says, oh, well, you are lacking control. Don't worry, I'll help you. So he becomes our friends, and we try to control things in our own way. And when that doesn't happen, that gives us suffering. That makes us feel like suffering. And the third thing is, when we see others suffering, or when others are going through this thing, that also it gives us that feeling of happiness inside, and our experience reduces. I always give this example. There are 2 people who are getting boiled. One is getting boiled in ghee, the other one is getting boiled in oil. So the person who is getting boiled in ghee thinks, oil mein boil ho raha hai, ghee mein boil ho raha. And the person who is getting boiled in oil, he is thinking, kya life hai baba, ghee mein boil ho raha hai, main to oil mein pada hua hu idhar. But they are getting boiled. Right? This is what is our material world, dukkhalayam asasvatam. And in this dukkhalayam, people are enamored, enchanted, looking for happiness. Kidhar milega? In our command, there is a syntax error which comes. And the syntax is the essence of that object. This syntax is given in this, that this is dukkhalaya. But people are still looking for happiness in this. Then comes our next part. Where is that? Then Prabhupada writes in the purport that but his devotees are enchanted in a different way by the glories of the Lord and his merciful blessings upon them. His energy is displayed in different ways as electric energy works in manifold capacities. Srimati Kunti Devi has prayed to the Lord just to enunciate a fragment of His glories. All His devotees worship Him in that way by chosen words, and therefore the Lord is known as Uttama Shloka. Why Lord's smile is so important? Why? Why, if the Lord becomes pleased in life, everything else is taken care? Why? Very beautiful words in Bhagavatam actually, and we should remember this if possible. Very, very beautiful verse. This verse says, Yatha tarora mula nisechanena tripyanti tatskandha bhujopashakhaha pranopaharacha yathendriyanam tatheva sarvarahanam achyuteja. If the whole world is satisfied with your activities, they are glorifying with what you have done. But if Krishna is not happy, it's worthless, it's useless. But the whole world has not understood you. They are not satisfied, they are not angry, they are not glorifying you. But Krishna is happy and Krishna is smiling. Oh, that's the highest perfection of life. Why? This verse says, Yatha taror mula nishechanena. When we water the roots of the trees, tripyanti tatskandha bhujopashakha. All the branches, the twigs, the leaves, the fruits, the flowers, everything get nourished. Yatha tarora mula nisechanena tripyanti tatskandha bhujopashakha prano upaharacha yathendriyana. When we put the food and it goes to our stomach, belly, and it gets digested, yathendriyanam, all these indriyas, the senses, the bodily limbs, everything gets nourished, energized. Similarly, when we worship Krishna and Krishna becomes pleased, everything else is taken care. That should be our mission of life. That Krishna, if He becomes pleased with our efforts, Krishna is pleased even if everything else is not happening. No worries. Actually, that's the perfection of life. Third point is the smile of the Lord. We all come to the temple. We look at the deities. We look sometimes closely, sometimes not so closely, and we often that can be tested when you ask people, can you recollect what dress the deity was wearing today, or what garland dress? Maybe some people will be able to remember. What was the color of the garland? What flowers were there? Which color? Difficult. Sometimes when you come to the temple and when probably nobody is around and you are here and you have some time, look closely to the face of the Lord. Look at His beautiful smile. Not everybody notices. Actually, it's a very mysterious thing. And people don't know. So they come and they're busy with so many things. They have their own desires. All the problems they say, and they go away. But they don't look at the beautiful smile of the Lord. And that smile of the Lord is so beautiful. It is mentioned in one of the verses. You can repeat after me. Hasam hare ravanata khilaloka tivra sokashru sagara vishoshanamati udaram sammohanaya rachitam nijamaya yasya Bhrumandalam munikrite makaradhvajasya Hasam hare ravanata khilaloka tivra sokasru sagara vishoshanam ati udaram. Hasam harer. You just come and meditate on the smile of the Lord. Hasam harer. How are you going to meditate? Avanata is Nata is to bow down. Avanata, completely surrendered. Hasam harer avanata akhila loka tibra sokasru sagara vishoshanam. This is one word. Akhila loka tibra sokasru sagara vishoshanam. Ati udaram. The smile of the Lord is the most benevolent, most compassionate. That smile, if somebody meditates, what happens to him? It is mentioned, Loka Tibra Sokashru Sagara Vishosanam. Because of this material world, where we are constantly tormented by these three modes of material nature, people are crying. How much? One drop of tears? No, Sokashru Sagara. It's an ocean of tears. What kind of tear it is? It's a tear of lamentation. Soka Ashru Sagara. But that Soka Ashru Sagara becomes Bishoshanam. It becomes dried up by looking at the beautiful, compassionate, benevolent, Ati Udaras Hasam Harer. Harer Hasam. When we look at the beautiful smile of the Lord, Hasam Harer Avanata Khilaloka Tibra. Sokashru Sagara Bishoshanam. This Sokashru, this fearful existence, this miserable existence where we are having so many problems and we are shedding tears either in private or in public, and that makes an ocean. That ocean gets dried up. Hasam Hare Ravanata Khilaloka Tibra Sokashru Sagara Vishoshanam Ati Udaram Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Yasya Bhrumandalam Munikrite Makaradhvajasya. Then look at the beautiful eyebrows of the Lord. The eyebrows of the Lord also, people don't pay attention to all these things. But if you look at very closely the beautiful eyebrows of the Lord, Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Yasya Bhrumandalam Munikrite Makaradhvajasya. People who are suffering because of the lusty desires which is tormenting them. So many cases I hear. Oof, they get addicted, they are doing some bad habits, they don't know what to do. Here it is mentioned, the Lord is saying, Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Yasya Bhrumandalam Munikrite Makaradhvajasya. Somebody who's meditating on the eyebrows of the Lord, his lusty desires he'll be able to overcome. A yogi should similarly meditate on the most benevolent smile of Lord Sri Hari, a smile which for all those who bow to him dries away the ocean of tears caused by intense grief. The yogi should also meditate on the Lord's arched eyebrows, which are manifested by his internal potency in order to charm the sex god for the good of the sages. So this is the beauty and this is the effect of meditating on this beautiful smile of the Lord. But there is one word which is used here, Hasam Harer Avanata Khilaloka Tibra. That word Avanata means, how do I surrender? How do I look at the Lord? What should be the mood? And that is something which is very nicely given in Nectar of Devotion, where Rupa Goswami talks about this mood of submission. How should I surrender? How should I feel? How should I express my submission to the Lord? Avanata Khila. Then only that Ati Tibra, whatever Sokashra Soshanam, Vishoshanam will happen. But Avanata is the most important thing. And Rupa Goswami points out from Skanda Purana, there are three words that he used to convey this meaning of submission. He says, it is said that those who are sober devotees can offer their submission to Krishna in the following three ways. First is Samprarthanatmika, very feelingly offering prayers. The prayers that we offer, actually when we sing in the morning, Mangalarati or anything, it has to be done with the feelings. Samprarthanatmika. That is the most important thing. The feeling with which samsara, it is a repeated reminder for us every day in the morning. We say it is a samsara davanala, right? It's a forest fire of material existence. How difficult our life is, and it is a reminder for us. So that feelingly when we offer these prayers, that is the first mood of submission. Samprarthanatmika, very feelingly offering prayers. Then the second thing that he says is Dainya Bodhika, humbly submitting oneself. Dainya Bodhika is very important thing. Dainya, who am I actually after all? What is my position? What can I do after all? I'm a very tiny, insignificant person. Dainya Bodhika, humbly submitting oneself. And the third and the most important one is Lalasamai, desiring some perfectional stage. Samprarthanatmika, Dainya Bodhika, and Lalasamai. Lalasamai is an intense desire. Prabhupada coined this word Krishna consciousness based on one of the verse from Rupa Goswami's Padyavali. Krishna rasa bhakti bhavita mati yadyapi kutopi labhyate क्रियते यदि कुतोपि लभ्यते तत्र लौल्यम एकमूल्यम Krishna rasa bhakti bhavita mati. This consciousness where I am soaked, imbued about Krishna, that consciousness, if it is sold anywhere, kriyate is being sold. If it is sold anywhere, you should immediately purchase. So, okay, I'll purchase it. What is the value that I have to pay? How much money I have to pay? Tatra laulyam ekamulyam. I should have intense desire. What is the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? Why this whole mystery? What is going on? What is this creation all about? That lalasa mai, that lalasa, that intense desire is the only price with which we can purchase this Krishna rasa bhakti, Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita mati, or this Krishna consciousness. And that is what is the perfection of life. And if we are able to do that, ati udaram, this benevolent smile of the Lord will dry away all our ocean of miseries. This is what it is saying. One side you can be enchanted by the energies of the Lord, like the material world, the conditioned souls who are trying to get happiness. The other side you can be enchanted by the beautiful smile of the Lord, and you can submit to the Lord. Submit to the Lord with these three ways: samprarthanatmika, dainya bodhika, and lalasamai. These are some of the important points from this verse. Any question? Any comments? Sometimes I wonder I should go on, but then I feel 9 बज गया है, लोग सोच रहे होंगे ये तो छोड़ता नहीं है, आता है तो बोलता ही रहता है. So I can leave it. Any questions? Any thoughts? One thing is this understanding that the Supreme Absolute Truth is a person is not there in most of the people. Though we know Bhagavan hai, something hai, we offer, but he's a person, he's cognizant. Suppose I am talking to you, I glorify you, and you are like a stone sitting there. कोई reaction ही नहीं है, कुछ I am some. I mean, it cannot be. Or I am scolding you. There has to be something in your face, in your emotions. Lord is a person and he's smiling. Oof. He's smiling. What beautiful words he has used. Of course, Prabhupada gives the example that even a small child, when he's with his broken linguistic attempts, he's talking something to his father. Father is happy. So like that, when the Lord understands and sees one conditioned, she is not conditioned soul, but she's a pure devotee, but still she is using these choicest words to glorify. That brings a smile on Krishna's face. It's not that the Lord doesn't smile, but the smile of the Lord based on our action. That is what is the significance. If I did something that pleased the Lord, that's the beauty. It's a reciprocation. Yeah. Mandam jahasa vaikunto. If this word, 3 words, if you remember, Mandam jahasa vaikunto, and make it as the mission of your life, I should work in such a way, I should do service, I should do my whole goal in life should be, if the Lord becomes pleased by my action, if the Lord becomes satisfied. How do you know whether the Lord is satisfied or pleased or not? One of the things that we sing in the morning is, what is the last stanza of Samsara Davanala? Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. When the spiritual master is pleased, the Lord is pleased. And if the spiritual master is not pleased, then there is no way to go. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. So when we follow the instructions of our spiritual master strictly, very strictly, and we are able to please by helping him in his mission, that pleases the Supreme Lord. That will bring that smile. That's a very valid question. Next question. Physically, Prabhupada is not there. So how do we know that? So that's why it's very simple. Prabhupada has established this system in this in a temple where there is a structure, right? Where there are devotees, there are some authority system, there is a reporting thing. So when you immediately please your authority whom you are reporting to, that's how the spiritual master gets pleased mystically. It's like, suppose, in a big office, there is a small peon who's there, and there is a CEO who's sitting in some 10th floor or 12th floor. How do you know that the CEO is pleased? Because CEO is pleased means he is pleased. The company, he is the main person. What should the peon do so that he knows that the CEO is pleased? Peon whom he is reporting to, if that person is asking, give me a glass of water, and this person brings proper, nice, whatever, the way the glass of water, and this person becomes pleased, the immediate authority, he will tell it to his boss. Hey, he's a nice person, he's obedient, he does this. This is how it goes. Oh, so and then it finally reaches Krishna. So how do we know that, if spiritual master is pleased? Very simple. If your authority is pleased with your attitude, with your activities, Prabhupada is pleased. This is a mystery of devotional life. Not doing things independently. Independently, though, we are doing anyway in material world. What is the big deal? That's how we are stuck here. But when you understand this first principle of devotional life is surrendering our free will. आज मन क्या, मैं इधर से निकला, किधर? हिमालय. क्यों? वो घूम फिर के आऊँगा, थोड़ा गर्मी हो रहा है इधर. नहीं, it's all this free independence thing is gone. If there is a service, you go and search for some herbs which can be used in Krishna's service, go into Himalaya, that's a different thing. But outside people, they think, हम पूरा सब कुछ जो करना है करेंगे 80-90%, बाकी जो 10% लाइफ है उसमें हम आते हैं ना, मंदिर में एक आता है, एक डिवोटी आता है, एग्जैक्टली 1 मिनट वो गुरु पूजा के टाइम पे आता है, चला जाता है. उसमें अगर वो मेरे को नहीं देखता है, बोलते प्रभु आप दिखते ही नहीं हो, मैं वो 1 मिनट टाइम वेट करके रहूँगा, वो कब आएगा, हाँ मैं इधर हूँ करके चला जाना है. नहीं, I mean, we have to prioritize our life in a very different way. To give up our free will, the desire to do things independently. आज मतलब इतना साल से मैं इधर सेवा कर रहा हूँ, आज मेरा मन किया मैं थोड़ा वेकेशन में जाता हूँ, बच्चों को लेके चला गया वेकेशन में. किधर गया? उसको कृष्णा कॉन्शियस वे में करना है, तो थोड़ा ऐसे जगह में जाऊँ जहाँ पे थोड़ा ये भी हो, वो भी हो, और थोड़ा सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन भी हो, मगर थोड़ा मैं उसको दिखा दूँ कि ये भी एक मैं गया था ऐसे. Those are all things we have to be careful. Those independent thinking, planning, to give up. And then you see if Prabhupada is pleased, really Krishna smiles in our lives. That smile is very pleasing. Yes, Bhakta.
So I heard you use the word rhodium when you were describing the desiring some perfectional stage.
Yeah.
One of the ways of submission.
Mm.
I've heard this word a few times. I'm wondering if you could elucidate further for me the definition of this word.
Lolium.
Yeah, and the context in which it's used throughout.
So it comes in the, when, so this is, all these prayers which Kunti Maharani is offering, it's all in Hastinapur, isn't it? Hastinapur is in Delhi. And when the Lord returns to Dwaraka, right, and we will hear that in the 11th chapter it will come, when the Lord enters into Dwaraka, he blows his conch shell. And the Dwaraka Vasis, they rush. It's not like, अच्छा, Krishna is coming, no? हाँ ठीक है, आने दो, हम आएंगे अपने हिसाब से. कृष्णा कौन सा बड़ा है, वो तो रहते हैं इधर ही तो रहेंगे ना, मैं बाद में मिलूँ. They are rushing. Oh, Krishna has come. That lalasa, that intense desire. Sometimes मंगल आरती तो आते हैं हम, तब जनरली आते हैं, हफ्ते में 2 बार 3 बार तो होता है. आज थोड़ा, sorry, I am using Hindi. So that there is a feeling that intensity, I want to do this for Krishna. That there is a lalasa, whatever we are doing, sadhana or seva, everything, the reading, There should be an intense desire. That intense desire is the only price by which we can get Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. Otherwise, it's not possible. Like a teenager, or someone at that age, when or naturally they get attracted to opposite sex. This just comes from somewhere. You don't have to tell. You don't have to. He naturally is attracted. If we want that kind of a natural attraction, the price that we have to pay is intense desire. I want to know this. I want to understand this. That intensity is not easy. Koti janma sukriti bhir na labhyate. This is after doing lot of pious credit also, this doesn't come. That intense desire, if you get it in life, Lalasamai, I want to understand everything about Krishna. I want to understand everything which Prabhupada has given. Our life is success. So there is one way of enchantment where we are busy trying to understand, figure out, enamored by this material world. Another way of enchantment is I want to know this. I want to understand this. There is eagerness for this. This eagerness we should try to imbibe. We should try to acquire. That's the beauty. So we'll chant this one more time and we'll stop with this. Suta uvacha prathayattham kalapade parinuta khilodayah mandam jahasa vaikuntho mohayanniva mayaya. Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.